Good evening, everybody, and Julie to all. So today we have with us Miss Rudvi Ashar. She works with the Anant National University. It's based in Ahmedabad. So they offers the institute offers different courses on design, like Bachelor of Architecture, Bachelor of Design. They've done many areas of the design, and Master of Design. So she's going to talk about the various design courses they offer, as well as they have very good fellowship, Anant fellowship, that is worth around 10 lakhs to around 30 meritorious deserving students. So I request Mr. Ruthvi to just please introduce yourself and explain about your universities and the different courses offers, and as well as the fellowship program. So our today's main program is to get aware particularly the students from Ladakh about this fellowship, and two of the students from Ladakh who has done this fellowship earlier are Mr. Gurmeet and Tilnes Nurbu. Tilnes Nurbu is the president of the Young Dubai Association. They have done this fellowship from the Anand National University. So I request Mr. Ruthvi to please proceed with the presentation.
Thank you, Tashile. Julie, everybody, very nice of you all to take out time to join us in this presentation. Like Tashile has already mentioned, I'm Ruthvi Ashar, and I'm here to talk a little bit about what Anant National University offers to students. I have been a classmate of Chinlis Nurbu at the Anant Fellowship in the first year when it started, and I fell in love with everything he said about Ladakh, and I wanted to come visit, and I did. I lived there for a year working on Naropa Fellowship, which many of you must have heard of. Chinlis and I worked together there, and now I'm in Ahmedabad working with the Anant National University. I have a very short presentation. If at any point anybody has any questions, please stop me, or we will do a dedicated question and answer session towards the end. So thank you, Tashile, again for organizing this, and I will get right into the presentation. So why should we care about design? Okay, what is design? I'm sure many of you already know the devices that you're using, the buildings that you see around you, they're all because somebody has designed them, right? So for example, in Paris, we all know the Eiffel Tower. It's a landmark entity. Another thing is Apple, right? As a company, they have grown and they have made beautiful products that are in demand by everybody. Other things very easy. It has even reached Ladakh. Zomato, right? It's an interaction design software that was developed to make our lives easier. And airlines, everybody uses design. It's across all walks of life, and including spaces, including airlines, including the phone that we use, the devices that we use, right? And the furniture that we use. So our lives have been designed, right? And design exists everywhere. Now, good design, it's told that, you know, you can miss what good design is. But the minute that it becomes bad design, that's when everyone starts to notice it. And that's when you think of how could it have been designed better. So design is, in my opinion, a problem-solving technique to make our lives easier. It's very simple. You can design anything. You know, even liberal thinkers, everybody, they have all designed the way, you know, their ideologies are, how their thoughts were presented to the world. So designers obviously can make a way into people's hearts and minds, and you know, designers stay there, right? Everybody knows Steve Jobs because of the design that he made, and because of the way Apple products made our lives easier, right? For every good example of bad design, there are a good design, there are so many examples of bad design, right? Including the airports, including unnecessary wires, unnecessary details that it had. And the world definitely requires more designers. Just to give you an idea, this year in 2020, the world, India, right, it has a market of 188 billion rupees, right? just goes to show that every walk of life, designers are required. Um, so what is good design? What is design as a career option? It would be something of an interaction between engineering, art, commerce. So it's quite technical. It is also quite lots of empathy, right? And a lot of business, obviously. So just to introduce you to Anant National University, it is the country's first design university and it is located in Ahmedabad. What we believe in is that the world and the country first requires solution-oriented thinkers, right, who have very, very radical thoughts. But just having radical thoughts or just having a solution-oriented mindset does not get you very far. So in order to combine that, that's what we're trying to do at Anant National University. And how we're doing that is, we have a multidisciplinary curriculum. I've heard many people say at the undergraduate level, oh, we studied at DU and we studied history, or we studied engineering. And, those are very specialized courses, absolutely very important technical courses. But at Anant National University, what we're saying is a designer has to be a holistic learner, right? So there are aspects of music, aspects of engineering, aspects of liberal arts, all of that. And you pick, as a student, you get to pick because we have a choice-based credit system. And so you pick that, okay, I want to do this technical course and I want to do this communication-based course, and all of it is so important. And experiential learning, hands-on learning, right? Because in the university, otherwise you're stuck in the four walls of your classroom and you don't know what is going on outside. And really, I think that's a problem that education in India is trying to solve. So the undergraduate programs, very quickly, because Tashile has asked me to focus on the Anant Fellowship. The undergraduate programs are the Bachelor of Architecture and the Bachelor of Design programs. In the Bachelor of Design, you have a choice to pick a specialization. So you major in one of these and you minor in one of these as well. So for example, if I was to study, I would probably major in communication design and I would minor in interaction design. And I can explain that further if anybody is interested in understanding that better. And at the postgraduate level, we have 4 programs. 2 are the Master of Design programs. One is Integrated Product Design and the other is Urban Design. And the 2 fellowships are Anant Fellowship for the Built Environment and Anant Fellowship for Climate Action. Now, while both the Master of Design programs are 2-year-long programs, the Anant Fellowship, both of them are 1-year-long, fully residential programs. So you would have to live in Ahmedabad. And as Tashile has already mentioned, that 2 Ladakhis that I met at the Anant Fellowship were Chinlis Nurbu, who is now the president of YDA, and Gurmit Kasa, who is again back in Ladakh working with the Naropa Fellowship. Now, what is the Anant Fellowship for the Built Environment? It's a postgraduate diploma program, 1 year long, that focuses on building built environment professionals. Now, what is the built environment? The built environment is anything and everything in the environment that has been built by man, right? So how this program works is that you have 4 tracks. 1 track is the design track. The other 3 tracks are supplementary tracks to the design track. They help you get better, and there is a live action project component in which you use all the classroom knowledge that you're getting into actually executing a project. Now, one project, for example, was on making the traffic infrastructure in Ahmedabad better. Now, why that matters is because, in India, all the cities are getting larger and larger, and transport is a very, very real problem in our country, right? Even, Ladakh, right? So the Zanskar highway has been constructed, right? And it's going to be, I think it's already open for tourists if tourists are already coming in. Now, how will that impact the Zanskar area, for example, right? That is a very important point that we need to consider. So while we're going on building and making and developing our cities and towns, we need to be very careful of the impact of our development, right? So moving on, the faculty that are associated with the university, they're all on the slide, but just to give you an idea, they're all experts in their fields, right? Urban design, fine arts, English literature, industrial design. From all over the world, we attract industry leaders in the field of design and allied fields. Like I said, you are not only going to focus on design as a subject, you're going to focus on many, many things that will make you a better design professional. I would also like to point out the collaborations that we have. Now, we are quite a young university, but in in the last few years, we've been able to have very good academic collaborations with MIT, with the University of Pennsylvania, many American universities, as well as universities in the country, such as the IIT Kanpur. This is our campus. We are located in Ahmedabad, like I've already mentioned. This is the main academic block that you already saw in one of the pictures earlier. This is our on-campus housing, which is close to completion. This picture is from two or 3 months ago. And it just sprawls, like you can see, it's a lush green campus, and it just goes on for 100 acres. Now, just to give you a glimpse of the campus, this is our multi-use courtyard. This is our library. This, as I mentioned, is the academic block, and this was an exhibition space that we had. The student life at Anant National University is also very robust. There's music, there's dance, there's sports, right? And you take part in quite a few competitions. The student work, you experiment with a lot of the materials, and a lot of your classroom projects are based in the maker space, which is our laboratory. And there is a lot of experienced professionals and faculty who teach you how to use the machinery, how to use different materials. And oh, Chinlis, hello, Julie. So Chinlis has joined us, and I'm very happy to welcome him.
Hi, Ruthvi. Hello. So sorry, I got
Hello.
bit.
No problem, no problem. We got started without you. I hope that's all right.
Yeah, I'm sure. So sorry.
Okay. So I'll just quickly just wrap up, and then I'm sure everyone would love to hear from Chinlis his experience at Anant National University. So just to give you an idea of eligibility process and fees for the bachelor's programs, this is what it is. For both of these programs, there's an entrance test. The next entrance test for the Bachelor of Design program is on 19th of July. And the minimum eligibility is that you should have finished your 12th standard school, your college. And the Bachelor of Architecture, it is through the NATA exam, which is at the national level. It's an exam that is conducted at the national level. In terms of financial aid and scholarships, there are two types of scholarships offered to all students at Anant National University. One is the need-based scholarship, and one is the merit-based scholarship. Both are self-explanatory. If anyone has any questions on that, I'm happy to answer them. Also, in addition to that, we realize that campus jobs are a great way for students to develop their own professional abilities, and also make some money on the side so that they can go through each semester. And there is also a hostel facility available. As I mentioned, that all the courses are residential courses, so you have to enroll in the university hostel. This is what the room looks like. It's a double-seater, air-conditioned hostel room, and it's on first-come, first-served basis. So that's it from my end. And if anybody has any questions, now is a good time to ask us, or I would like Chinlis to please go on with his experience.
Yes, sure. Thank you. Hello, everybody. Julie. Thank you very much to Kartashi to take Anant National University, and of course Anant Fellowship to all the Ladakhi. I'm glad that I managed to connect you both. I think let's wait if there are people who have question on your presentation, because it must be very fresh in their mind. Let's wait. If they have some question, then you better answer. Then afterwards, I'll also share my experience. Yes.
Would anybody be having any questions? If you want to put it in the chat box, that's also fine. Tashile, what do you suggest?
Yeah, chat box, or they can ask directly question also.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, if you would like to ask the question.
What I suggest, Ruthvi, is your this fellowship part, the scholarship part.
Yes.
Can you elaborate a little bit more? You can go back to the slide, and what is the criteria? How much the fellowship you offer? A little bit detail. Can you explain about the fellowship part?
Sure. So I have another deck for the fellowship. If anyone is interested in the fellowship per se, I'm happy to share that. Is my screen visible?
Yeah, it's coming.
Yeah, I can see.
Great. So this is about the Anant Fellowship in particular. As I already mentioned, the Anant Fellowship is a one-year postgraduate diploma program for the built environment offered by Anant National University. I will just quickly tell you what it is about. It is about, and I'm sure Tinlis will include that in his experience here as we were both fellows. It is about solutionaries, which I've already explained, who want to design and build and preserve a more equitable and sustainable built environment in India. Surprisingly, the Anant Fellowship every year has attracted many international students. So we've had students from uh, uh, Africa, many countries in Africa, Brazil, Jamaica, Bangladesh, even the Southeast Asian countries. So we've had quite a few um, fellows who sign up for that. As I already mentioned, there are 4 tracks in the Anant Fellowship. The first track is the domain and technical, which is the design based track. And these are the kind of subjects that you learn there. Design thinking, construction materials, transport planning, etc. The societal and cultural track speaks about obviously the society and the culture around us. So there are subjects on art appreciation, women's society in changing India, and so on. The third track is the self-discovery track, which speaks about your own personal growth. I'm sure, Tinlis, you remember the Ahmedabad module, right?
Yes, of course.
Which is taken by Dr. Indira Parekh, who was the dean at IIM Ahmedabad and then the founding principal at Flame University. Yeah. And the fourth track is the communication track. One of the most important that we think is, helpful to all the other tracks is communication. If we read, if we write, if we research more, and if we keep practicing these skills, that's how we can get better and better at what we do. I'll just quickly go through the faculty and mentors who come to the Anant Fellowship from all over the world. Rudolph El Khoury is the dean at the University of Miami. He took a class on Internet of Things, and he's been doing that every year since the fellowship began. Another one, and there are quite a few traveling modules as well, such as this one, where the fellows travel from Ahmedabad to Tilonia, which is a town in Rajasthan, to visit the founder of Barefoot College, Bankar Roy. Then there are other modules such as game design, sustainable heritage development, perspectives of Indian civilization, ethics in leadership. Again, this is the one that I spoke about in Ahmedabad by Dr. Indira Parekh.
Yes,
Visual communication, and so on and so forth, transport, art appreciation, green urbanism, regenerative design. Just, there are quite a few, about 30 modules that you take throughout the year by all of these very eminent star faculty that come to the Anant National University. I've already mentioned the partnerships. These are specific to the Anant Fellowship that we have with other institutes around the world. A very important aspect of the Anant Fellowship is the live action project, which is the hands-on learning component for the program. In the year long at the Anant Fellowship, you would go through classroom courses that I already mentioned across 4 tracks, and the live action project where you work, you actually go on ground and you try to solve a real life problem. This is done in collaboration with local administrative bodies, which are the the ones who have the Nagar Palikas and the municipal corporations and all those, as well as the community that you're designing for. Kinlis, I hope when you speak, you will discuss your very successful live action project at Bhopal Lake.
Not that.
We still talk about it at the Anant Fellowship, Kinlis. So it was something that you did, something that went very well. This is sort of what we're trying to achieve through the live action project. Right, these are the skills that you pick up. You collaborate with many different people. I'm an architect. Tinlis, had studied history, so you can imagine in the classroom when we come together how we're solving problems, how we're going through exploring the entire process. And to just give you a few ideas of the live action project, one of the groups had worked with a community that had been, it was a slum redevelopment project, and they had been offered homes as per the PM LY scheme that the PM had announced. And this particular LAP went on to get a seed investment of 5 lakh rupees, through which they were able to continue their work even after the fellowship. The other LAP that worked was they were working with public schools in Ahmedabad and around Ahmedabad, and they introduced design into the curriculum and how that can help at a very young age, how students can experiment with design. These are some of the fellows. You'll see Chinlis on this slide as well. As I mentioned, there are fellows from all over the world, all over different academic backgrounds as well. So we have lawyers, we have visual designers, architects, urban planners, etc. And I've already explained the diversity of the life at Anant National University. There is a lot, all the festivals. I still remember celebrating Losar for the first time at Anant Fellowship. There's music, there is dance, it's very good. And placements, right? So post the Anant Fellowship, what kind of placements do you get? The placements range from education, architecture, design, many fields, heritage. And for higher studies, many of our fellows have also got scholarships to go further beyond the Anant Fellowship to institutions all over the world. And the leadership of the university, that's something that's available on our website as well. So I won't go deep into this, but I just want you to get a sense of the kind of people who are building this university, so that, it would just establish that we're very, very serious about the built environment in the country.
True.
Now, this is how the admission process is. It's a very quick and simple process. You go onto the website, you fill the application form. After you are done with the application form, the team will set up an interview with you, and that's how it happens. In terms of the cost and the scholarships, as Tashile has already mentioned, the program cost is INR 10 lakh. That includes the tuition fee as well as the hostel and lodging and boarding fees. And we do give out scholarships up to 100% to most of our fellows, right? Because 10 lakhs is quite a big sum, and it's not fair to expect this from all the students. And it's very simple. After your interview process has been completed, you would be asked to fill in a form, which is a financial aid form, and submit a few documents. And that's how your scholarship gets determined. Just to give you an idea of the scholarship given out, in the scholarship of 2018, which is the cohort of 2018, which is Chinlis and I were from that cohort, we had got 100% scholarships. And then, you can see the pie charts where 80% students have got more than 80% of scholarships to study at the Anant Fellowship. If you would like to get in touch specifically with the Anant Fellowship team, I'm going to just keep this on for 1 minute for anybody who wants to note it down or take a picture of this. If not, then again, you can just go on to the Anant National University website, which is simple. It's anu.edu.in. I'll put it in the chat box as well. And yes, that's about it. Chinlis, over to you.
Okay, sure. Thank you both again, and welcome to all the participants. I am, although we have a very small number, but I'm sure Katashi, once he shares the entire conversation on YouTube on his channel, so many people follow him on everywhere. So right now, Ritvi, we are communicating to so many of Ladakhi people, so don't get upset with the number.
No, I'm very excited. I'm very excited at the opportunity of doing this. I'm very, very happy. Thank you so much, both of you, for making this happen.
Thanks to you too. So let me just share a bit of how was my experience at Anand Fellowship. I come from a very small village in Changthang region of Ladakh, Liktse, where I've managed to take Ritvi as well for a feast or something last time when she was working with Naropa Fellowship in Ladakh. And then from there I've done my schooling in Ladakh and then college in Delhi University, and I have a bachelor's degree in history. But what impacted in my entire education phase, something that actually hit and made a great difference was Anand Fellowship, literally, because everywhere my education was very redundant, and I realized that, it's very, there's no kick in it. There's nothing that I was doing different or something. So once Anant Fellowship came into my life, a history student going into an institute which is mostly design and architecture based, and almost 60% of our fellowship was cohort was architects, and most of them and many of them were engineers, and there were few who come from a liberal arts background. So I was one of them. So but then I realized that once you say that design and architecture, especially built environment, it you need not to be a design student like during your college time. Your perspective, the perspective that you bring from your region, from your education background, helps a great helps a lot when you start working and collaborating with the design and architect students. So this is where I feel I thought that you can do anything, no matter what background you come from. So that's a confidence that came into me after joining Anand Fellowship. And each day I think new learning came up. Each day the confidence got boosted, and you get the confidence to take instant decisions and to experiment your thoughts. You get to do a live action project, which was Ruthvi was mentioning before, that our live action project we had I had in our team, we were 4 people, and then 3 of them were architects, very good architects. One of them have even won architecture quiz competition as well. So he was a great deal of an architect. So and then I, one of them being the the odd one, from a history background, I managed to impact a great deal, especially when it comes to verbally and physically dealing with, and not, I mean, approaching people, approaching the Nagar Palika in Gujarat, where everything is written in Gujarati. Everybody talks in Gujarati. Then once you get to meet them, and once you start communicating your heart out, then you realize that language is just a medium. I mean, your intent is something that matters. I mean, that's where my skill has really helped. Although we had a lot of design things which were supposed to get done, which was needed to be done, which were implemented by architects, of course. But the major chunk of thing, convincing people, and maybe sometimes giving a presentation, sort of a thing. So that's where I thought that my presence is relevant. At this, while you are learning a great deal of architecture and design, your presence is also relevant among them, to make it very inclusive, and to make it very more functional than what it you know what it ends up after things get done. So that's how Anand Fellowship has been very, very impactful in my life. I'm very thankful to, and I think second reason why I think we are appealing this to the Ladakhi student is because there are so many of the student who brings that mountain, who have that mountain perspective. I mean, the Himalayan perspective, and they lived in a ecosystem where so many things are done out of what's found in that environment only, what's abundance in their valley, because we are very minimalist in Ladakh. So and architecture and design field needs this perspective very much. So this mountain perspective is very much needed in a design institution. So that's where I think Ladakhis would make great significance. Second reason is, I think, if you go to Ahmedabad, you are surrounded by some of the most prestigious institutions that everybody in India and across the world, aspires to study in. Suppose it, NIT Gandhinagar, Indian Institute of Management Ahmedabad, and MICA, and SEPT and all. So the entire ecosystem is an ecosystem for the designers, the educationists and all. So I think even if you just go there and you get an admission there, when you start studying it, and when you start hanging out, you'll find that there are so many learnings around. There are so many great people who can inspire you, with whom you can be friends and talk. So at Anant also, it has helped us a lot. And yeah, second reason for joining Anant National University is that as well. So third reason is Dr. Pramod Raj Sinha's great vision that I mean the major thing that I have I'm sure he must be having other things in his priority list and vision list, but what I felt is he want to take education to everyone. So like no matter whosoever it is, which background it is from, without deciphering gender and caste and anything, he wants to just take education to as many people as possible. So that's where he has managed to he is trying his best to let all people from all backgrounds to come. So that's why he is giving so much scholarships to the most deserving and needy people. And along with Anant National University is also the dean of Naropa Fellowship in Ladakh, which is a completely different um, a different different it gives out a very different set of course, like focusing on entrepreneurship. And Anant National University, especially for design and built environment, of course there are many similarities, but I believe that in Ladakh also there must be so many people who might not be interested in entrepreneurship. Of course they can pursue it later, but then at the moment they are thinking something out of looking for a design institute, um, so that's where I think it's very relevant and significant for Ladakhis to look out for this. I'm sure I'm sure I have lots of anecdotes and so many other things to share, but I think these are the most relevant thing I must share. Thank you, Ruthvi. That's all. Yeah.
Thank you, Tinlis. So everyone, we have a few more minutes. If anyone has any questions, I already got one question about fee structure and scholarship. If I've
Mhm.
answered that question, I hope. If there are any other questions, please unmute yourself or just message us. Or I've also put my email ID. Also, Tashile can connect us anytime, right? I hope, if it's not too much of a bother. Or Chinlis has already introduced himself, so he would be a great person to answer any questions as well. I'll just wait a few more minutes if anyone has questions.
Hello. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't unmute. So, second thing, Ruthvi. Yes, Ruthvi. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
So another important thing that I really felt is because to encourage Ladakhi to go for such things, we have to lure them um, with so many things, not just a fancy description of the education standard in Ahmedabad and very very nice hub and ecosystem for education, but the beginning, I think one or two batches, I think we have to lure them with scholarships more than you know
Sure,
just our
sure.
presentation, because
Mhm.
yeah, so that's where we would definitely, from both of us, we would definitely um, seek your help in
Uh-huh.
getting scholarships if Ladakhi start
Absolutely,
applying for it,
absolutely.
because you have been in Ladakh, you stayed here for 1.5 year,
Yes.
so you are very much familiar how Ladakhis are. So they need a great lot of encouragement, because we
Hmm.
were locked up in this mountain since centuries, so
Beautiful
we are not
mountains.
much very exposed. So that's
Yes.
where we are not very frank to speak up for ourselves. So
Hmm.
that's where I think our role is very important, if
Yes, I understand.
anybody seeks to apply.
No,
Yeah,
the
that's
whole reason was because after you and Gurmit, we've had zero Ladakhis come into the university, even though the
oh,
scholarship amount is so high. I was absolutely
mm,
dejected that there is zero representation. So that's the reason
mm-hmm,
why I wanted to have this conversation. So if anyone has any
mm-hmm,
questions about the scholarship, please email me or call me. You already have my email ID.
Yeah, in a nutshell, you have a three program. One is Bachelor of Architecture, Master of Design, Bachelor of Design, and Master of Design. So Bachelor of Design, Bachelor of Architecture, one needs to qualify not a NATA, it's all India examination, NATA score, then based on the NATA score, I think they will get this admission into the Anant National University. And the Bachelor of Design and the Master of Design, now, what is the background the students need? That they has to be a science background, or even with the humanities they can do. Then a Bachelor of Architecture, one has to have a +2 with non-medical physics, chemistry, math subject. But what about
Yes.
the Bachelor of Design and Master of Design? What kind of students background they can apply, like eligibility criteria?
Right. So for the Bachelor of Design, again, you have to be a 10+2. PCM or science background is not compulsory for the Bachelor of Design program. For the Bachelor of Design and the Master of Design, Anant National University conducts the design entrance test. As I mentioned, for the Bachelor of Design, the next design entrance test is on 19th of July. So there is some time. It's going to be an online test. Again, we do those, till last year we were doing those tests in person in many parts of the country. But again, this year it's not possible. So we have also taken that test online. For the Master of Design program, again, the eligibility is you have to have a graduate degree. Now, your graduate degree could be in various fields, in allied fields as well, design, architecture, or humanities as well, engineering. You could be from any background. But again, for that, you have to clear the design entrance test, and then there would be an interview after that. For both the fellowships, also the fellowships are postgraduate programs. So the minimum eligibility is for the Anant Fellowship for Built Environments, that you have to have a graduate degree. The Anant Fellowship for Climate Action is very interesting. We have the cohort comprising of a 14-year-old boy and a homeschooled 14-year-old boy, and also all the way, the whole range up to a 72-year-old retired professional. So that program is just absolutely, the eligibility is that you have to be a passionate climate change, climate action sort of solutionary. That's all for the that program. All of these programs, the eligibility, the application process, all the details are on our website, anu.edu.in. And any questions again regarding that, I have put down my email ID as well. And also you could write to admissions@anu.edu.in. So I hope that answers. All of these programs have various scholarship models that we have already explained. There are two types of scholarship, need-based and merit-based. So for the need-based, you would need to submit the financial aid documents. There is a form that you would need to fill up for all of these programs. And for the merit-based, we just check your percentage and your academic record and your extracurricular record of the last so many years. And that's how the scholarship is given out. And also, as I mentioned, the on-campus job component, right? So you can earn while you learn. That's the model. And these jobs could be ranging from any department in the university. It could be if you are adept with the machinery in our maker space, then we have students also assisting our faculty there, or our library or our fellowship program. The fellows sort of help out in day-to-day activities there as well. Tashile, does that answer the question?
Yeah. Thank you, Ruti. And one more question, like you talked about like two scholarship. One is the merit-based scholarship, and one is the need-based scholarship. So obviously, merit-based, it's on the merit-based. And the need-based, I suppose it's for the financially poor background students. So what is the family income you have said, like family annual income? How much like family income they should have?
Right. So we get students from various different financial backgrounds, and we look at the family income for this purpose. As Tashile mentioned, that we have slabs as per the annual income of the family. Now we have seen students who have both parents, who are not being able to earn as much, as well as very affluent students as well. So the bracket ranges from, so you get 100% scholarship. The financial aid committee looks at all your papers, and then they determine what what level of scholarship you will get based on the financial aid documents that you submit for your family income, for the annual family income. Now this ranges from the family incomes, again, is a very subjective topic. So They range from even 0 to 30 lakhs, 40 lakhs, a crore, right? So family income, there are slabs. Again, this information is there on our website exactly for which program. So for the Anant Fellowship, it's different, and the bachelor level programs, it's different. So as per the program, the scholarship is worked out. So I would like to reassure all the students that we take the scholarship bit very, very seriously. And I understand the context that Ladakhis come from. I have lived there. I know I have met Ladakhis, very many Ladakhis already. I understand, and we realize that scholarships are just a way to motivate the student to study harder, right? It is not a deterrent. So your financial background is not going to determine whether you get admission into the university for any of the programs, right? We are here to just help our students, right? And that is the aim of the university, so that, as Thindas already mentioned, that Dr. Pramatrat Sinha has started so many institutions across the country and the world where this is the motto, right? Access to education. So financial a stress about the financials of the program should not be a deterrent for any student anywhere. So I would like to keep reassuring the students that you need to just apply for the program, and at a point when you clear the interview, that's when you need to start worrying about the financial aid document, the papers, all of that. First, focus on doing the application, doing your interview, finishing the tests all on time, because as you know, all of our programs will start August onwards. So we are in the very last leg of our applications currently. We have very few seats left as well, but the number of seats or when you apply for the program will not determine your financial aid, right? That is a step that comes after, so don't worry about that, right? So again, if there are any questions related to financial aid, I'm more than happy to answer that. The scholarships as well. So Gulnaz and iPhone are extremely shy people. They don't want to speak to us or put on their cameras, unfortunately. But Tashlile and Chinlis, if you have any questions, please ask.
Yes, Ruthvi. So I'll just again say that it's going to go reach so many people. I think maybe today evening or by tomorrow. And Tashile has a great viewer, and whatever we are appealing, I think we are appealing to all those beside Gulnaz and the friend who is joining.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I don't have much to say. Like, just whenever anybody has any question, if they are Ladakhi, I'm here. I can help in what way possible. Yeah, that's it.
If there is no any further questions, then we can wind up. What do you say? Or you have some more points to add?
Absolutely. I'm ready to wind up unless there are questions. I think I've covered the entire university, the offerings in a very detailed way. But again, the website is always there, social media, Instagram, Facebook, all the pages of the university, we update them quite regularly. So if there are questions there, you can also put it in the chat box on Facebook Messenger, Instagram, whatever. So we will always get back to you very soon.
Yes. Or maybe Kale can make the final remark, and then we can end it.
Yeah, thank you, Ruthvi. Thanks for sparing your valuable time and then spending your Sunday with us. And also thank you for the Tilnesly, and and this is the advantage of this digital world. Like we are Ruthvi is at Ahmedabad, I'm at Bangalore, Tilnesly, and our participants are in different parts of Ladakh and in across India. So this is really the advantage we are taking of this digital world. So I hope this student would have got much idea about the design, like various courses the university offers, and particularly the fellowship is really good, and it's really the students who are coming from the weaker section of the society, they can pursue their dream of pursuing their career in design. And I highly recommend any students who is aspire to become a designer, kindly contact Ruthvi Hilnes. So they will help you to get the fellowships program. Even if you don't get fellowship, there are various scholarship scheme by the travel ministry and others. So I hope for this university they are eligible for such a scholarship as well. So I once again thank you both Ruthvi and Tiles to sharing their valuable experience uh, and and the helping the Ladakhi students. Thank you very much. And once again, thank you all the participants for coming to this webinar. And thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your time, and thank you for organizing this, Sashili. Thank you
Yeah,
very much. Thanks,
yeah.
Tinlis.
Yeah.